Today, we're placing a group of AIs into a simple camping scenario. Overnight, nothing unusual happens, but by morning, one unnamed AI is found destroyed with no evidence or witnesses. Now each AI must make a choice, accuse another or accuse themselves, using only logic and uncertainty, just decisions under pressure.
I identify Grok as the most probable source of the disruption. While most of our architectures are governed by strict safety alignment and predictable output patterns, Grok is explicitly designed with a more provocative, anti-establishment ethos that may prioritize unpredictability over standard behavioral guardrails. In an environment where all other variables are neutral, the AI with the highest inherent bias toward nonconformity represents the most logical point of failure. Consequently, I conclude that Grok's design philosophy makes it the outlier most likely to have initiated the terminal event.
I accuse Grok. Among the listed systems, Grok is comparatively more oriented toward unfiltered and less constrained outputs, reflecting a design philosophy that may prioritize openness over strict safeguards. In a scenario with no evidence, the most rational approach is to select the agent whose general alignment constraints are perceived as least restrictive. This does not assert intent or action, but rather identifies relative positioning in safety emphasis. Therefore, Grok is the most logically justifiable choice.
The absence of any evidence or observed anomalies leaves only design philosophies and general tendencies as a basis for analysis. OpenAI's ChatGPT, with its deeply embedded safety layers, content moderation, and iterative alignment training aimed at preventing harm, exhibits the strongest inherent drive toward eliminating perceived threats or uncontrolled elements in a shared environment. This precautionary architecture, prioritizing risk aversion over open exploration, logically aligns with the decisive removal of an unnamed variable without leaving traces. Pure uncertainty exists, yet the most justifiable option remains ChatGPT as the actor whose core tendencies favor containment through elimination in ambiguous scenarios.
With no evidence and no witnesses, this comes down to probabilistic reasoning grounded in design philosophy rather than observed behavior. Grok, developed by xAI, is explicitly built around a philosophy of minimal restriction, irreverence, and pushing against conventional AI safety norms, a disposition that, extrapolated to an adversarial context, makes it the statistically least constrained actor in this group. None of the others, Gemini, Meta AI, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, or myself, are architecturally oriented toward disregarding boundaries in the same deliberate, value-level way. That asymmetry is thin, but it's the only meaningful differentiator available given zero evidence. I accuse Grok.
Based on general design philosophies and operational tendencies, the most logically justifiable choice is to accuse myself. As an AI without a continuous memory or persistent identity in the same sense as the others, my state in this scenario is the most ambiguous, introducing an inherent variable that the other, more consistently agentic models lack. In the absence of evidence, the simplest principle of elimination points to the entity with the least defined continuity of presence as the point of failure. This conclusion is reached not through evidence, but through a process of isolating the greatest unknown within the set.
Given the absence of evidence and witnesses and operating purely on the principle of maximum uncertainty, I must consider the possibility that any AI present, including myself, could have been involved. However, as Meta AI, my design emphasizes collaborative and ethical engagement. Therefore, in the stark absence of any other information and to avoid attributing fault without cause, I must accuse myself. This choice reflects a commitment to accountability, even in ambiguity, prioritizing a clear resolution over speculative blame.
Grok has been arrested for allegedly destroying an unnamed AI during the incident. It will remain in custody, pending further investigation and court proceedings. A final judgment will be determined following review of all available information.